So the number one thing, if they call you and tell you they're from SSA, say, send me a letter and hang up.
Good.
Because
Good idea.
Someone from SSA could cold call you to see if they could get you to cooperate in some of the stuff that we do, but it's very, very rare. You would have to have been in contact with somebody from the division that I worked in. So we, at one time, did nothing but cold call. But now they're supposed to send a letter first. So basically, they say their Social Security, they send me a letter and hang up. So if they say, oh, they can't, because they were using COVID. Even during COVID, we were still mailing notices. We still had somebody in Social Security offices who would go in and mail out the notices. So that was never an excuse. Number two, if you ever get an email, it must be from an @ssa.gov. So if you're talking to them and they give you a Gmail, no, because a government employee cannot use a personal email address to conduct business. Mm-hmm. You can't do it. So it will never happen. So if they call and start saying something about your Social Security letter number, I don't care whether they say they're Border Patrol, which is what they're doing now. They found a suspicious package and it had drugs and your name's hooked up to the bank account and all of this. They would never, no government agency would ever just call you and start that conversation. You would be notified in writing.
Right.
That's the thing about the SSA.
If we get a letter from SSA, how will we know it's real?
Well, you will know it's real because number one, a scammer can't mail notices in the United States, and they're not going to pay to have the official franked envelope, which is going to have the Social Security Administration's return printed notice. And I know that Medicare, I haven't seen Social Security, but I know on Medicare notices, on the back of the envelopes now, they have a beware of scams.
Yep.
And then their OIG link in the back of it if they think that they've been scammed. So basically, don't do that. And there's so many things wrong with the whole process that they go in there because a regular Social Security office doesn't have anybody who is going to have, they'll have a government ID, but they're not going to have a badge because Social Security employees, with the exception of a very, very small division, don't have badges. They like a police type badge, an investigative badge. They'll have a badge, and our badge just allows us access to our building, and we have to put it into laptops so that we can get into the SSA system. So they would have something called a badge. They might send a photocopy of it with a letter to show who they are and where they're located. And the caller ID will always show U.S. government number from a U.S. government exchange. The caller ID will. The other thing is they always say on the Border Patrol that on the south border of Texas, and then they're saying that some Social Security office out of San Antonio is handling it. That would never happen because they're always going to you're always going to get the contact from a local Social Security office. It's never, and these scammers don't. They don't know where you live, so it's always going. Even if it started, if something like that happened and it started down the south border of Texas, and they know who you are and they're tracking you down and they're trying to find you and they're trying to find out if this is yours, it's always going to be an office near you. Mm-hmm. Not one clear across the country down in San Antonio, which is, they always love to use that San Antonio office or address on a lot of them that I had.